Final debate questions, they deal with, real quickly, some reports that are available on this website, and you can click on the top link and you can check what all the questions in the reports. Real quick, there was a press release regarding alcohol harms, reducing alcohol harms in Los Angeles, and there's also the actual report, Reducing Alcohol Harms in Los Angeles, 16-page. There's also a ICMA, Police Operations Report for Hermosa Beach Police Department, and a Hermosa Beach Community Dialogue Finance subgroup. Okay, question 5, background. The debate question relates to a Los Angeles County Public Health report. It's called Reducing Alcohol Harms in Los Angeles County, and it's from December 2011. It was in the last debate 2 years ago. It was in the debate 2 years before that. Real quickly, Hermosa has, I'll just hit the high points here. Hermosa has about 4 times the number of alcohol outlets that are called on sale. So these would be restaurants, bars, nightclubs, compared to Los Angeles County. We have 4 times as many, and that's per capita, which is per person. What the report relates is that communities that have a high number of alcohol outlets per capita also can have a high rate of crime. And real quickly, within the report, we had double the rate of violent crime compared to Manhattan Beach, 3 times the rate of violent crime compared to Rancho PV, and 10 times compared to Palos Verdes Estates. Also, in the last 4 years, from 2011 to 2014, which is beyond the stats, so after this report came out, we had 1.9 times the aggravated assault, 2.4 times the Part 1 rape in those 4 years, and 2.2 times the misdemeanor rate compared to Manhattan Beach, and almost 2.6 times the misdemeanor arrest rate in Redondo. And anyway, so I'll just go right to debate question 5. Do you believe the findings in the Reducing Alcohol Harms report regarding the relationship between alcohol outlet density and increased violent crime in the city? And also, Hermosa Beach appears to have a higher rate of violent crime compared to Manhattan Beach. What would you change? And that would be for Pete.
Thank you. The findings in the Reducing Alcohol-Related Harms reports, sad to say, they're true, but the real question is, how do we change this statistic? The beach cities per population have always had a high density of alcohol usage and outlets. When I was in high school, the city to the north had more liquor stores per capita than any other surrounding community. So this has always been a problem. The Health Services Underage Binge Drinking Group reaches out to the youth and their parents to show signs of alcohol abuse. This is where it really starts, is with the adolescents. And I'm sad to say, but really in the South Bay, allowing minors to drink is a culture that has been allowed. And that trend needs to stop. There's a correlation to alcohol outlet to crimes in our city. Most of these crimes are, as we've talked before, urination, fighting, getting adults to purchase alcohol for minors, and just drunk in public. However, these crimes do escalate into violent crimes, which are not acceptable in our city or any other city. How do we solve the problem? Well, we could try to close everyone down by midnight. But the real problem is we seem to have this, what I call a mob mentality. People come to Hermosa knowing that they can party. They wouldn't do that in their own community, but they come down here because we're the party, we're the city. We need to change that culture. How do we change that culture? By attracting restaurants that will close at midnight.
Get summarize, Pete.
Get a more family environment in the downtown area. But really, it begins with the family and what happens in the family. It all starts with the youth. Everybody says, you know, you have one beer, you give your child a beer, but, you know, then even parents will buy their children alcohol. So it's okay. But I think somehow we need to stop that, stop this violent crime and all the death and destruction it really causes. It's actually horrible. It ruins people's lives, and And I'm just pleased that we do have a few organizations in this community that have outreach programs for people that have alcoholism and drug abuse and things like that. It's a real plus in our community. But somehow we have to figure out how to stop it at the core. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Justin?
The conclusion is as obvious as it is important. Yes, of course, there's a relationship between alcohol density and violent crime. There's no question about that. Let's talk briefly about Measure B. By 3-1, Hermosans said we don't want to, on a wholesale basis, reduce the operating hours. So what that tells us is there is some value in the establishments down on Pier Plaza. Those bars add life. If you go down there on a Saturday during the day, you hear people cheering from the bars, that adds life to downtown. The problem is what happens after 10 p.m. It's the worst kept secret in Hermosa. We know where the problem is, we know what the problem is. But City Council hasn't been able to solve it for a long, long time. So what we need to do is have a practical conversation. We can't just sit up here and say, we need to enforce our rules or we can't figure out how to do it. Let's first agree on the behavior that we want to eliminate. It's overconsumption, violence, and sexual assault. Bar owners, residents, city staff, all the stakeholders agree that that's what we need to get rid of. How do we eliminate the problem? And who pays for it? Who pays for the policing that's required downtown until we do eliminate the problem? We can continue to enforce the police department's late night action plan, which is a good plan, but we can make a very simple and elegant change which will align our interests with the bar owners' interests and provide the incentives where they should be for the bar owners who have the most control over the problem to stop the violence, which is a direct result of the overconsumption and also brings with it the sexual assault that we want to get rid of. And that simple change is this. Right now, when there's a fight in a downtown bar, the bouncers grab the people involved and toss them out onto Pier Plaza, where it becomes the city's problem, which is why we need police officers that we, the taxpayers, are paying to sit across from those bars to make sure it doesn't escalate into a full-blown riot.
You can summarize.
Yeah. What we need to do is require the bars, when there's a fight in their bar, to detain the people involved and clear out the bar until HBPD can come in and complete its investigation. That will give the bar owners an incentive to make that problem go away, and I can assure you that it will go away a lot quicker than anything else that we're doing.
Thanks, Justin. Ken?
I have no reason to disbelieve the report, but the data is kind of interesting. Based on that data, the Hermosa Beach received a 3.5 rating, which, based on our population, equates to 69 violent crimes. Whereas Redondo Beach, they have a 3.1, but that equates to 210 violent crimes in the year. And Manhattan Beach, 1.4, a good rating, that's still equated to 50 violent crimes. We're only 19 off. I'm not saying that that's not a good number, but it is a substantial number. But from what I've seen happening in the downtown area over the past couple of years, it has gotten better. I used to go out volunteers in policing, and every Friday or Saturday night, a couple hundred hours a year, I had done that. And I don't want to say it got boring, but it definitely had a change down there to where it wasn't quite the same anymore going out on a Friday or Saturday night. Closing down the 705, closing down a couple of the problem places down there, I think made a big impact. And then also I grabbed the Daily Breeze chart that showed in 2013, Hermosa Beach had 5 rapes. Also, Manhattan Beach had 5 rapes. And then robberies was 6 in Hermosa, 34 in Manhattan Beach. Burglaries were 119, 194 in Manhattan Beach. And auto theft, 35 in Hermosa, 36 in Manhattan Beach. I think
Summarize.
some of the things are very similar what we have going on, but I think our numbers are actually going to go up because we have a full staff of police on duty now, which means there's more eyes. There should be more reports coming because more things are being caught.
Okay, thanks, Ken. And Jeff?
Yeah, I see it a little different. When I first brought this report to the city's attention when it came out when I was on city council. In fact, we were talking about the South situation. I remembered this fact, and I think Al alluded to it. The Hermosa Beach in Hermosa Beach. We're 4 times the on-premise alcohol density compared to all of LA County. I think we were like 4th out of 117 municipalities in our city. I think this idea that it's getting better down there, we like to hear it a lot, but it's illusional. It's not true. You know, there was a public records request was made here recently by Jim Listener for the reports, and as we know, we don't get our monthly reports anymore, which is, you know, unfortunate. And I had a chance to go through those. And if you look at them, it is horrifyingly shocking the nature and the number of crimes that are committed down there. I mean, here's one brief report. I'll read it to you because it's short. This is all it said. It said, victim sustained massive bruising to her left eye and cheek by unknown person and by unknown means. Far too often, it's young women that are the victims of these crimes down here. And I'll read you another one. It said, agitated suspect goes after victim with a pair of scissors in a stabbing motion. And this is an interesting report. This is really the MO of every weekend. These marauding guys that go through the neighborhood. This guy was riding his bike, and he was stopped to talk to his son, to whatever, and these guys are walking up to him. This guy tells him to turn off the bike on his light, the light on his bike. It was in the evening. And he started this dialogue with him, and this guy attacked him and assaulted him. This was down by Martha's. This started in here, in the downtown. So this is a real problem. It's not only is there a connection, it's habitual, it's historic. And here's the other thing. It ties directly into what we've been talking about earlier tonight, because you cannot look at downtown revitalization without looking at these public safety issues as an overlay to any plan. And they will not magically go away with a new streetscape or a hotel groundbreaking. We've got to deal with this.
Thanks, Jeff. Trent?
Okay, I am an action-oriented, solutions-driven person. And the problem we have with alcohol and alcohol-related crimes largely stems from down at the pier, and it largely stems late at night. Everyone in Hermosa knows that. And so what are we going to do about it? Well, I would be in favor of more than doubling our late-night officers' patrols down on the pier. Our officers make tremendous amounts of money. Yes, they have a risky job, but they have benefits that far exceed what normal people make in the private market. I call all over Los Angeles, from West LA to Carson to Compton to Watts to Pasadena and all up and down the Great Southland. And I know that most people don't have the pension benefits that our police officers do. Having said that, I think more of them need to work at night here in Hermosa because that's where we have the problem. And we need to target the downtown area with more police officers, and we need to arrest the drunks, and we need to throw them in jail. You can get a ticket for being drunk in public. And we start doing this, we will start driving the crime rate down. And we need cruisers parked on the plaza at night. We need the police officers right there, not cruising around and waiting for a call, because that's where we have the problem, and that's how I would look to stop it. I think we can mitigate it. I think we can do it quickly, and I think we have the resources already. We just need to redeploy our resources like everybody else in private business has had to do over the last 20 years to be more productive and get more out of what you currently have.
Thanks, Trent. Okay.